like lecturing. So let me share my screen. This time I have less tabs open. And so this is going to be my presentation on Flipgrid. And it's all about like, it's very like general introductory to Flipgrid. And it's a pretty like user-friendly platform. So I'm going to talk about how you can access it, how you can navigate it, and how you can utilize it as a tool for learning. So the goal is to introduce you to the basics of Flipgrid and the various features it offers. You're going to get a chance to see what the platform looks like from both a teacher and student perspective, as well as be provided with some examples of how you can integrate this tool into your teaching. So the first part is accessing, and here I just kind of like outline how you can create an account. I think we might save this for later, and I'll have the first half of the session just be you playing the role as a student, and I can show you what it looks like as student versus a teacher. But it's very easy to sign up. All you have to do is go to the flipgrid.com website. You'll see at the top right-hand corner, you have the educator sign up, and it's free. So the good thing about this is you don't really have to make an account. You sign up with your Google or your Microsoft account. And that's the same thing for the students. So they don't have to actually have a Flipgrid account. Whenever you create a new topic for discussion, they simply just click that specific link to that discussion, and they'll be able to access it by signing in with their school email. And I know a lot of schools have either like a Gmail suite or like a Microsoft email. So that's the really great thing about it. It's like one less thing that the students need to remember. Like all of these passwords can be very overwhelming. So like I said, you go to that website, educator sign up, and then you can create your account, and it's free. So I'm going to,
Can the students, is there a way for them to log in without using an email account? Like what if they're in like second grade and they don't give emails to second graders?
Yes. So there are ways, but we're going to test it out because I'm not sure if they need an email regardless. I think it all depends on how you, like the privacy settings that you put for your topic of discussion. So all of my Flipgrids, because like, you know, I want it to be more private, only people with like my domain of the email are able to log in, but you can change it so that it's public. But I'm not sure if it still prompts you to log in with an email. So we can try that out because I'm going to have you guys test it out as a public Flipgrid. So how students or people can join a pre-existing Flipgrid, there's two ways. This is the longer route. So they would go to flipgrid.com, and then at the top, they can just enter the specific code to that discussion. And then it would prompt them to sign in with their Google or Microsoft email. So like, here's an example of a code. So I can just copy and paste that, and it'll bring me to the page. Why is it? Quick question, Karen. I just wanted to double check. Is this being recorded?
Yep.
Okay, great. So right now, I don't know why it's loading, but it should bring you up to the page. The second way is every time you make a Flipgrid discussion, it'll generate a specific link where the kids can access it. So you can just send them the link, they click on it, and it brings them again to that prompt where they sign in with Google. There's also this QR code access, which again brings them to that link, and this is all generated on the website. This is good if you're teaching synchronously. If students have cell phones, you can like scan it and it'll pop up on their phone. But again, if you have a younger crowd, that might be a little bit different. So that's just like how you can access it. And now I'm going to talk about like how you can navigate within your account. So as an educator, when you log in, there's like, you know, just like your main page, kind of like your Google Classroom, you have like a main page. Just want to let it load up here. So this is kind of like your main page view, and it's basically just showing you like all the topics of discussion that you've planned. And up here, there's different tabs. These are actually new. Microsoft recently bought Flipgrid, so when they did that, it gave you access to more features. So I'm not familiar with some of these tabs, but I am familiar with like activity. It tells you like basically your activity on the website, like some achievements. It kind of reminds me of like Class Dojo in a way. Discovery is really great because you can look at other topics of discussion that educators have made public, and you can bookmark them and reuse them. So like if you want like a quick emotional check-in and you don't have anything planned, you can recycle those resources. Then you have the discussion tab, and that is kind of like your hub of all of the discussions that you've made. So topics is very general. It just lists all of the discussions you've made, whereas in groups, you can kind of like organize your discussions into like groups that you would share with a group of students. So like, for example, you saw I had all these topics, but those topics are actually organized within these 3 groups. And what you would do is you can assign or share this group with your class, and they could kind of like go through all of those discussions. When you create a group, you can also add students to a group. And I can show you how to do that if you would like. So creating new topics for discussion. So you would go to your topics page, you can click add a topic, and that would kind of form like this new discussion. So you would title your discussion. I would title it as, let's see, favorite summer moment. And then what you would do is you would add kind of like a prompt or a question to like guide them in their discussion when they record. So what was your favorite summer of 2020 memory? And then recording time. So you can change how much time you give students to record their video. I suggest you allot more time than they may actually need, because they can stop their video beforehand, but they can't go over the time. So it might cut them off. There's also options to have closed captioning, and that's like once they publish their video, when other students watch it, they can, the text comes up. Video moderation, I highly recommend, especially as an educator, because that requires you to approve what they're posting. So they might submit a video and it won't come up until you approve and you make it active. And this is especially with middle schoolers. I make sure that I do that. And then along with your prompt, you can post a recording of you explaining like the task further. You can upload a video that you've recorded. You can, relate your prompt to maybe like a YouTube video that you want them to watch beforehand. You can upload an image. You can upload an emoji, a GIF, whatever. I'm big on GIFs this year, so I'm gonna find a summer GIF.
GIFs are so fun.
I love GIFs. Here, let's do this one because I wish I was on the beach. And then this is where that like privacy setting comes along. So normally, especially as a teacher, I would make it private, and I would only allow access to those who have your school domain. So like my domain is at 104m.org. So only students or people who have that domain when they log in will be able to access the page. I don't suggest student username because I believe that requires them to create an account, and you want it to be like easily accessible. So I wouldn't recommend that. Now for public, it says participants with the join code can view the topic. To record a video, they must sign in with Microsoft or Gmail. So that, I think that answers your question. They would still have to, because it prompts them to log in. But I know that this website is constantly changing, so maybe they'll find a way around that. So I'm going to make it public for now because you guys have
Can you
different
scroll back
email.
up for 1 second?
Yes.
Just wanted to see one thing.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit more to where it had like the things you can add.
Oh, okay. Oh, here. So let me delete the media because you could only add one thing at a time. But there's different things. There's like News ELA, Nearpod.
Like, how would you add, what would you do with like a Kahoot on there, for example? Like, what would that?
So with your Kahoot, you would link your Kahoot challenge there. So it could be like they did their challenge and then they would reflect on like their learning for the unit, or like maybe one thing that they learned, or so it's kind of like, you know, you can add different layers to it. Same thing with News ELA. This is like a resource that has articles. So you can like link maybe an article and then you could have them in the video reflect on like 3 things they learned, or you can have them like talk about the author's point of view, or whether like this was nonfiction or fiction, or, you know, so it all depends on like how you want to utilize it.
Very cool.
I'm going to go back and add my GIF. So here's that. So then once you're done, you will create your topic and it'll kind of like publish your discussion and ready to share. So this video will pop up and this will be the link that you share with the students so that they can access it. And they literally would just click the link, log in with their Google or Microsoft account, and they will have access to the page. And this is like more resources you can use. So you can like share it as a QR code, you can embed it. I think this is like Microsoft Teams, so it's kind of like Google Classroom. You can share it to your Google Classroom and you can share on Remind. So I have the link copied and this is what it looks like on a teacher's end. So it'll kind of look similar for students. However, the responses area is different. In the area for students, it'll come up like there will be a button for the students to record. Down here is where teachers go back and activate the posts. So I put it as moderated, so I have to, like, control of what's published. So you'll see videos pop up as students start submitting. So what I'm going to do is I am going to copy and paste the link in the chat. And you're going to access it on the student's end. So you'll click the link, you'll log in. I hope that you have either like a Microsoft login or you have a Google login, and see what the page looks like.
So I just clicked on it and it actually didn't ask me to log in. It just takes me to the favorite summer moment page with recorder response.
Oh, it didn't. Oh, so that's good.
It's not asking me to sign in.
Oh, so then maybe you don't need it.
Maybe.
Because that little blurb said that you did, but I guess you don't when it's public.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, I don't see myself logged in anywhere, so.
Yeah, that's interesting. So I'm going to like explore it on the student's end with you so you can like get an idea of what it, like, you know, what the features are. Yeah. So right now I'm looking, so here's what it looks like as a teacher, right? Very similar. Here's what it looks like as a student. You see how it's a little bit different? I have that like record a response prompt. So really cool, like the titles here. If you have immersive readers, so like for like your second graders, it reads the directions to them. So, or it reads the prompt to them. So they would click on that immersive reader icon and then it would play. It would play, you know, the text. And like I said, if you have like a video of yourself explaining the task, it'll come up here, but I chose a GIF. So now students can record just by clicking record up here. Oh, see, then it says join in with Google. So when it's their time to record, that's when you log in. For private, I'm assuming it prompts you before you can even reach the page. So this is opposite. Like you can reach the page, it's public, but in order to record, you have to log in.
Okay.
And then if it's private, you need to log in before you even reach the page.
Yeah, you're right. When I click record, then I have to join with logging in.
Yeah. So if you want to record a video, you would, after you log in, you would click record a response, or you click it down there. I'm going to join in with Google. Okay. And then a video will pop up. So it tells you how much time you have to record. You can add special effects. So the kids love this, but I would definitely create norms on like how much or what they can use, because kids can go crazy too. So, they have filters. Since it's a summer theme, I'm going to like use summary filter.
So cool.
Other effects are frames. So you can put a frame around. I don't see any summer frames, so I'm not going to do a frame, but there's like, they can draw, they can add text, they can add emojis. So like for students who don't feel comfortable being recorded, I've seen students cover their face with emoji, but you can still like kind of see them. Or if they don't feel comfortable, they cover the camera and they record. So it's all up to their comfortability and what you ask for. So once they like set those effects, they record it, gives you a little countdown. Hi, I'm Jackie, and my favorite summer of 2020 moment was when I visited Rhode Island with my family. So when you record within the time, you can pause it and continue. It tells you how much time is left. You can look at the topic to make sure that you've answered whatever questions you need or what was in the prompt. You can also add sticky notes. So if you want to like add some more notes that you weren't able to like say during the video or you forgot to mention, you can add the notes. And then when you think you're done, you click next. And it automatically plays your video.
It's pretty amazing you could do this and Zoom at the same time.
I know, right? So if you think you're ready, you can publish it, or you can go back if you wanted to add more or delete it. And then every video comes with like kind of like a cover photo. And I think you could turn this feature off when you go further into the settings once you've created your topic. So I'm going to do my summer video. My picture, my selfie, whatever you want to call it. Maybe I'll get my, I usually let students kind of decorate their cover photo. I'm just gonna put a smiley face because I wanted the sunglass emoji, but I don't feel like waiting for it. Oh, it didn't. My computer is lagging. I don't know why it's not coming up, but you can just drag it and it's supposed to show up. And then when you're ready, you could click next. You can add this information. I normally just tell the students to put their display name. So then it says, your video is hidden until approved by your educator. So when you have it moderated, it doesn't come up right away, and it tells the students that also. And in my settings, I let them have the option to download their video if they want, but you can turn that off. So once you're done, you see it's not there yet, right? Your video's been submitted. But let me refresh this. On the teacher's end, when someone posts, it comes up. So right now it's hidden. To activate it, I have to turn it to active. And now it comes up. So I don't know if you guys want to like try out making your own video, or if you want me to kind of like show you some other things. What would you guys like?
I'm currently already trying.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I've been testing it out. I like that it's so straightforward,
Very.
You just kind of like click on the link and then you record, and then like all the like little decoration buttons, and then you're done.
It's really great. That's why I said like this would also be perfect for like COVE, because I know sometimes we do like reflections on Padlet. So it would be nice to like switch it up sometimes.
Yes, for sure.
And then it's also nice because like you can see like the face behind who's
saying it.
like who's saying it.
Yeah.
And I feel like, you know, talking in the whole group sometimes might be a little bit more intimidating as opposed to like recording a short clip.
Yeah, I definitely think we should incorporate that for like our next meetings and stuff. Or
just to try it out.
Yeah.
Now you can also promote discussions with Flipgrid. And if you notice here, there's like a comment section. So you can actually add a comment by like, it's kind of like having an ongoing dialogue. So like someone posts something and then you can comment back by recording a video to comment back on it. So it's kind of like having a dialogue with someone. So like I'm thinking of ways you can utilize this with your students. So like maybe like my first day of school, I'm doing an introductory one where students have to introduce their name, the school that they came from, and like, I don't know, maybe like their favorite something. So then I can have students interact, you know, the students who are in class and versus like the students who are at remote or working remote, they can interact by like finding someone they have something in common with and introducing yourself to them by leaving a comment. So there's ways that you can like promote community and like this ongoing discussion with your students. And teachers could also leave comments and record themselves, like, you know, saying, oh, I love your video, or it's nice to meet you, or, you know.
Yeah.
So that is a great feature. Let me see. Another great thing is you can add a co-pilot to your Flipgrid. So if you look up here, it doesn't come up here, but there should be like a little thing that says add a co-pilot. So it's like adding a co-teacher. And when you add a co-pilot, they can also manage who submits what. And they can like make the posts inactive or active.
That's really cool.
Yeah. So you might be able to like do it in the settings. So when you go back to like the settings, so to go back and like edit things, it's like a little pencil icon, and there's like further settings that you can set. So like you can turn off video editing. I like to keep it on because sometimes, you know, students are nervous the first time around, so they like want to go back or take out a clip. You can take off the ability to comment. You can allow students to like other students' posts. Yeah, so those are like some like further modifications or settings that you can do for your discussion. Also, what's really cool is you can also monitor like who has visited your page. So like I'm gonna go to my end of the year reflection. This was one that we did with our students. And let's see, let me go back. If you go to groups, you can go to like whichever topic, and then you can see the students that are within your group, and it tells you like who has logged in, how many times they've logged in, how many videos they've posted. It tells you the last time they logged in. So this is really good in like, you know, accountability and just like tracking who's been on the page or who's been active. So that's really great. And we can talk a little bit more now about like how you can utilize Flipgrid. So from a social, emotional, and like community building aspect, you can use it as icebreakers. So like you may want to like post a prompt where students introduce themselves and like a fun fact about themselves. You might want to do like emotional check-in. So how are you feeling today? Or how did your week go? And they can talk about like how their week went. Messages to classmates. So like that ongoing dialogue that I showed you by like posting comments is really cool. And also a message to a classmate could be like, oh, what's like, you know, one thing you want your classmates to know before we move on to the summer. So that can also be like a topic of discussion and just kind of builds community, and that it ties in that social emotional aspect. I have some examples here. So like here's an icebreaker one that I did. It was towards the end of the year, but I wanted to like, just test out the platform. So let's see, I'm trying to find one. So like Justin, he didn't.
My name is Justin, and one fun fact about me is that my favorite subject in school is math.
So there he's like talking about his favorite subject. As you can see, he's normally shy, so he didn't want to show himself, but it was still nice to hear his voice. And I did this like midway through remote learning, and it was nice because I got to like see and hear from students that normally wouldn't come to my live sessions. So that was really nice. And then here's examples of how you can use it as a content tool or to like, promote class discussions between students who are separated. So I'm teaching in a hybrid structure. I have some students who are in school and some students who are working from home, and I still want them to get to know their classmates, even though they're not physically with them at any point in the year. So I might want to use Flipgrid for like a lesson closing where they want to reflect on one thing that they've learned. Maybe I want the students to act as like a topic expert and they have to film an infomercial about a topic. Maybe I want them to use this as a choice activity. So maybe I have them like, for poetry, they might write a poem and they can either make a poster of their poem, or they can record themselves reading their poem, and that could be one of the options to utilize Flipgrid. Also for class discussion, so again, like providing feedback to your peers. And in class, you can have students watch their peers from home and maybe say like, oh, I agreed with so-and-so, or I disagreed with this person. And then you have them go and like record a video to comment to them and tell them why they agree or disagree. So it's really a great tool to like foster these discussions and kind of like get them, like push them to do a little bit more than beyond like, what we can do in Google Classroom. So I wanted to show you some examples of some of those strategies. So let's see.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
How do you, once you like record a video or a photo, is there a way to like delete it if you don't like it and then redo it?
So once you submit it, you can't go back and edit it. So anything that you edit has to be before you turn it in. And there is a way to do that. So like if you're recording, there should have been like a button once it started to autoplay for you to like see it, to like either record more or go back and delete it. So it does give you the option. And the same thing for a selfie. If you don't like the like selfie photo for the cover, you can retake it. So there is that option, but once it's turned in, you can't take it back. So like last year, we had a student who didn't like the video that they posted, and then like emailed me and said, can you take this one down? I have a new one. And then like, that was fine. But that is something to like bring to your students' attention.
Okay. And
Yeah.
I like it. I like the split screen feature that I saw where you can like, where they can have their face for half of it with the piece of paper or graph paper where they're explaining their work on the other half. That was cool.
Oh, I didn't even know that was a feature. Where did you find that?
When I was recording my response,
Mm-hmm.
I clicked on like backgrounds or something, and then I clicked on the lined paper, and then I clicked on split screen, and then I dragged how much of my face I wanted showing and how much of the lined paper I wanted showing.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't even realize that was a thing. I'm gonna write that down because I'm doing this presentation again, and I'm gonna look into that, because that would be a great tool for students to explain, like for math, their strategy, and they can use the drawing tool too. So that's really awesome. Thanks for sharing that. I didn't realize, like, they've been doing a lot of updating to this website. So like some of these things that were there when I was planning this like slideshow were never there when I was using it. So like they've been making a lot of like quick updates. So I'm gonna look into that. But I wanted to show you like, oh, I know why, because she sent me the link. So I want to show you like an example of a choice activity that one of my coworkers did with her students. They were like talking about social justice issues, and one of the options was to like film like an infomercial. There were options where students like created like a poster, or they created a poem, or like they wrote an article. So she had one of the options for them to record themselves on Flipgrid. So I want to like pull that up really quickly, and I thought it was really neat as an example for like a content tool. Let's see. So basically like students chose their social issue. So like this one was a really great one.
Hi, this is Victoria Vargas from Central Avenue, and today I'm going to talk about discrimination. Discrimination is an issue that has been going on around the world. Discrimination is when someone
There's a blur out function.
Yeah, there's a blur out function. So that's another, there's like a filter or something that they can blur themselves out too. So that's like another tool students can use if they're feeling, you know, just a little like nervous with showing their face. So that's like another option. This one was a really good one. This one was about, where are you, Julian? Oh, here he is. He covered his face, so I couldn't find him.
Hi, I'm Julian Horowitz, and I'm going to be talking about homelessness and the effects of it and what it is. Homelessness is when people that have no place to live, no food, they camp out on the sidewalks, asking for money and for food. They might have a dog, they have a child, you never know.
So this is just like an example of how a teacher can utilize it as a content tool. And I have other ones here, like an end of the year reflection. They kind of like shouted out their classmates. And you can even record your own as a model.
Hi, House 10. Miss Victor here. I just wanted to send you a message before we head out to summer break.
So, you know, there's a lot of things you can do with this, and it's very user-friendly, and like, you know, kids are into social media. So I see this platform as like an educational social media platform that's like very monitored and controlled by the teacher. And like, there's so many great things that you can do with it. So if there's like, you know, if you like have questions, or you want to kind of like look back on ways that you can set things up, this more resources slide has like videos about how you can do all of that. So I hope this was helpful, and if you want me to like further explain something or demonstrate anything else, let me know.
I mean, I love this so much. It's really so different than anything else out there that's, you know, trying to be more interactive. And one of my major concerns was like, you know, just some students don't want to like talk or show their face. And I'm glad that there are like options to not have you like show your face. Have you ever had like kids, hold on, guys, shh. Have you guys ever had students who just don't want to like participate because they don't even want to like talk or, you know, like talk on screen?
So yes, I have had students who said like, oh, I don't feel comfortable, I don't record myself. Excuse me. So I give them options of like how they can do something on Flipgrid, but not, you know, have to show their face. So like, for example, they can just record, you know, cover cover their screen, and then they can put a text box. So I had students do that. I had students who like had trouble accessing because like it requires them to have like a camera on their laptop, and some of them for whatever reason didn't have access to that on their laptop, or like they were using school laptops and like there's certain permissions. So I did have that, and like what I suggested for them to do was to record their own separate thing because they can upload it onto Flipgrid. So that's kind of like, you know, my suggestions for that. I'm just taking a look at the chat to see. Okay. Yeah, so it's a really great tool, and there's like so much more you can probably do with it. But again, these are like the basics, and I'm still kind of like learning some of it because they altered the website and like have created more, you know, things you can do with it. So I'm still kind of like exploring myself.
Yeah. I thought the section of your presentation that was super helpful was what was it called, like how to like actually like utilize it, like all the different ways that you could apply it. So yeah, thanks for that. That was a really helpful section.
Yeah, and those are just like some options. There's probably like so many other things. Like I like one of my goals going into the new school year, because we're going to be hybrid, is like finding ways for students to make connections with each other even though they're not at school at the same time.
That's a big one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So and then even as a tutor in COVE, you can utilize this where like maybe the first session of, you know, the course, you can give them the link where they log in and access the Flipgrid. They quickly record themselves, and then they could spend some time like looking at everyone's videos. So that's one way you can utilize it too. Yeah, I was going to say something else, but I forgot what I was going to say.
Okay. I think I'm good on the questions. This has been super helpful. I don't know, Emily, do you have any questions?
I'm good. This was just super cool, and I really hope that they at some point add a feature where you can use it without email, because I just think some of my children that I work with are too little to have emails. But
yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I wonder if there's like a section where you can give feedback and like suggest that. I'm
Yeah.
sure you're not the only one too, because
Yeah.
yeah.
I've been thinking about this issue, how like with tech stuff, it's so easy, but also sometimes so not. Like sometimes you like, you know, like just like having internet, for example, or yeah, like needing to log into stuff. Or like sometimes Google Classroom, like you can't use a domain Gmail or something. Anyway, all those things, but yeah.
Yeah. So hopefully they make it like more accessible for everyone. But I will say like this platform is probably like more accessible than others just because they don't have to make their own account.
Yeah. That's true.
But yeah, so I posted the link to this slideshow in the chat. So if you want to like upload that to the classroom later, you can. And then Emily, if you want access to it right after to kind of like explore more, you're more than welcome to have the link too.
awesome.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome, and hopefully next Monday we can use it at our COVE meeting.
Yeah, hopefully, right? I think so. We're always looking for ideas to make it more like the check-in more interactive and stuff. So I think that we can use this thing. Yeah. All right.
All right.
Jackie.
Have a great night.
Bye. Have a good night.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.